It is okay. It is 7:10, around 7:10. So that is we may go around 9 o'clock. Please bear with me. So now again to start with the session, because after 25th again we are meeting only today, that is 9th of January. So we on 25th of the month we started with the NPA and recovery with the question paper. Therein first we discussed about this slide, that is SMA, number of days overdue, etc., etc. And for OD/OCC accounts, what is the SMA concept? There I told you there is no SMA 0 for OD/OCC. Then, oh, it's not moving. Okay, sorry. For OD/OCC accounts, I told there is no SMA 0. Then that is, I also told you about the acrylic.
Sir, excuse me. That annotation, yes. Please.
Yes. Okay. More, where it is. Yes. It is disabled. Yes, okay, disabled. Okay. Now, on the day, I also spoke to you about the acrylic central repository of large credit, central large credit. So wherein I told you which type of data to be submitted and to periodicity, monthly and the last day of the month. That also we discussed on the day in the session. Then for internal purpose calculation, SMA A, B, C, D, E, and that also we discussed. Then I told you about the follow-up of NPA, SMA accounts, who is the authority. Then we saw about when an account is continuously in a quarter in SMA 2, depending upon the exposure, to whom over the review note to be placed every quarter. So that also we saw. Then about the slippage management committee at RO and CO. Then we started with the question paper. In the question paper, we told when there is 1 day overdue. So from which date the account will start appearing in SMA, and when this account will slip to NPA. So in the question paper, that is we have discussed about it. Then we also discussed about a term loan. It become NPA if overdues are there more than 90 days. I told you OD/OCC accounts, out of order accounts means NPA. If they are out of order for 90 days and above, they will be in NPA. So the difference between OD/OCC and the term loan. Then out of order, 3 possibilities I told you. The balance remains continuously in excess of the drawing limit. Then it is for 90 days and above. On the 90th day, the account will slip from NPA. Then liability is not more than the limit, but there are no credits continuously for 90 days, dormancy. At the end of the 90th day, the account will slip to NPA, out of order. I also told you, though there are credits, the credits were not sufficient to recover the interest debited in the previous 90 days. At the end of the 90th day, the account will become NPA. I gave an example to you. So as on 13/7, what is the liability? 3 months interest debited. When last interest credit has come, when the account will slip to NPA, out of order due to insufficient credit. This example is available in your website, where under the credit administration and monitoring wing policy circular, because these are all the changes that has been brought out by Reserve Bank of India in the IRACP norm from 1/4/2022. Okay. Then I also told you about irregular. What is the difference? Irregular OD/OCC account and out of order OD/OCC account. Then when it is irregularity, stock statement, when the account slips to NPA because of non-renewal of limit, 180 days, I told you. Then agricultural loan, etc. Then I told you about a secured advance and non-secured advance. When a secured advance will slip to which category it will go. When a non-secured advance slips to NPA, which category it will go. And then we saw what are the different types of that is your substandard asset, different types of our doubtful assets. That also we saw. So unsecured substandard infrastructure, unsecured substandard, and what is the category of the doubtful asset? DA1, DA more than 1 up to 3, DA more than 3. As per RBI classification, though there's no concept of DA2, DA4, DA5, etc. Only these three things. Once an account slips to DA1, 12 months, DA more than 1 up to 3 months, 24 months, DA more than 3, it remains for an uncertain period. These things we explained. And what is the provision you will keep for an infrastructure substandard account? There is substandard account, substandard infrastructure, and secured substandard. That also we saw. Then for DA, what provision we will keep? Then for standard asset provisioning. So these questions will come. Standard asset provisioning. I told you about farm credit and MSC, not MSME. Farm credit and MSC, you have 0.25% provisioning. Then individual housing loans sanctioned on or after 0.25, before 0.40. See your credit CRE exposure 1%, commercial real estate residential housing 0.75, teaser rate, all other loans restructured. This is with regard to provisioning for standard asset. Okay, that also we saw. Then we saw the various examples. When an account started showing sign of overdue, when it will become SMA, when it will become NPA, and on that day, what is the classification of NPA, what is the provisioning bank has to keep. So in the question paper, if I am correct, in the question paper, so we saw, in the question paper, we saw that is questions from, if I am correct, again, the question paper is before you in the slide. It is already there in the website. So with answers, I got to post it today. So here we saw about question number 20. If I am correct, or question number 19. Question number 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. If I am correct, where that is standard asset, sorry, substandard asset, doubtful 1, doubtful more than 1 up to 2, doubtful more than 3, where securities are there, where net worth of the borrower is there, where that is when the account is covered under the government guarantee, how much government guarantee will be there. To that extent, you need not keep provision. All examples we have seen. Okay, sir. Then up to 26, we saw examples for provisioning. Then we saw about all these small questions we saw. Then we discussed about majority. We discussed about the recovery agents. Recovery agents, 3 types of recovery agents I told you. Retired employees, and then seizure agent, and SARFAESI recovery agents. And then what is the fees payable to them? That also we saw in the PowerPoint presentation. See, these are all the examples we did on that day. So again, it is there in the PowerPoint. Please rework out it. Then I told you about the own accelerated provision. I told you normally this is the provision. If bank has not correctly classified the advance and it is not correctly informed to CRILIC, so as SMA, sorry, as per substandard or doubtful or loss on the due dates, so this is the additional provision bank has to keep. That is the accelerated provision. Okay, questions asked, you should not miss it. Then SARFAESI we have not covered on the day, so we will go to SARFAESI. Okay, now I will explain the SARFAESI. So please note down, for all levels, questions will be there for SARFAESI. It is very simple. So once I explain, once you go through the PowerPoint presentation, the questions also, you will be able to answer any type of question under SARFAESI. Once you finish SARFAESI, the resolution agent I have not covered on that day. That is also 1 or 2 slides. That also we will go through. We will wind up, for if time permits, we will take up the OTS policy of the bank, explanation in the PowerPoint. Next class, we will finish up and answer the questions. Now, SARFAESI Act, okay, 2002. Okay, SARFAESI Act 2002. Sorry. Okay. Okay, sir. Now, what is the expansion for SARFAESI? Maybe the exam they may not ask, in the interview they may ask. Securitization and reconstruction of financial assets and enforcement of Security Interest Act 2002. What it gives, what additional power it gives to the bank for recovery? It empowers banks to enforce the securities and realize their dues without the intervention of court. So without the intervention of court, you can enforce the securities and action it, and you can get that is money from the borrower. So this slide is very important. The next slide, the exempted NPA account. So for to go under SARFAESI, an account should have been necessarily be classified as NPA. Please note it mind. To go under SARFAESI, an account should have been classified as NPA as per RBI norms. Okay, that one point. Then second point is, which are all the accounts which are not eligible to be covered under in this SARFAESI. So if you know the ineligible accounts, if eligible accounts, you can easily answer. Which are the accounts which are not eligible to go under SARFAESI? Claim liability up to less than rupees 1 lakh. If the book liability is less than 1 lakh, so what is book liability in the NPA accounts? Book liability is nothing but the date on which the account becomes NPA, so or the date from which cessation of interest takes place. From that particular date, no further interest debits have taken place in that account. It is a book liability. Generally, the NPA liability will be the book liability. So the NPA liability or the book liability you can take from particular business intelligence report, and that is the book liability. So when the liability is up to or less than 1 lakh in the account, you cannot go under SARFAESI. So there are the second point, if the liability is less than 1 lakh, you cannot go under SARFAESI, even though the account is eligible for SARFAESI. The second point, the amount due to the bank is less than 20% of the principal and interest, though the liability is 1 lakh and above. First point I told you, less than 1 lakh you cannot go. The second is 1 lakh and above also you cannot go in some cases where the borrower has already paid, that is 80% of your, that is EMI. For example, he has taken a loan, already he has paid 80% of the interest and principal, only remaining 20% he has to pay, less than 20%. In such a case also, even when liability is more than 1 lakh, you cannot go under SARFAESI. Then security interest created in agricultural land. So here you have to be very specific. In this year, a loan recovery policy, the additional, the amendment which they are given, agriculture, coffee plantation or tea plantation or estate purchase loan or farmhouses, in these cases, so you can go under SARFAESI. For example, for a crop loan, for or development of a developmental loan, for example, digging of a well, etc. Where exclusively agricultural land alone is put as an EMT, you cannot go under SARFAESI. And second point, in this agriculture, you know, SARFAESI is for both movable and immovable. Wherever you have registered, wherever you have put through a mortgage transaction, so those things you can go under SARFAESI except agricultural land. Whenever you know hypothecation also, SERSOI registration to be done, both for mortgage as well as hypothecation also, SERSOI registration to be done. When you will take the hypothecation, when you give a loan against stock, or when you give a loan against that is plant and machinery, or when you give a loan against book debts, or when you give a loan against a vehicle, for these things the charge bank is getting is called hypothecation. So these hypothecations also to be registered under SERSOI. Only when you registered under SERSOI, you can go against these items under SARFAESI. And one more here, in the case of a vehicle, so you need not register under SERSOI. The registration, if it is done in Vahan portal, that is sufficient. That is equivalent to SERSOI registration. So liability is less than 1 lakh, you cannot go. Liability is more than 1 lakh, but when that is the amount due to the bank is less than 20% of the principal, that is paid more than 80%, then also you cannot go under SARFAESI. So security interest created in clear agricultural land, you cannot go. SERSOI registration is not done. If SERSOI registration is not done, and I told you when SERSOI registration to be done, if it is not done, you cannot go under SARFAESI. Similarly, if the bank has got a charge as lien, then bank cannot go under SARFAESI. Similarly, any pledge of movables within the meaning of the Indian Contract Act pledge. So bailment of goods to get a loan is called the pledge. Okay, that is what is pledge. Bailment of goods to get a loan is called the pledge. So if we have discussed about mortgage, then we discussed about hypothecation, we discussed about pledge, we discussed about lien in different types of charges in the legal aspects of banking on 11/12/2022. Presentation is also uploaded in CBO website. So a mortgage you can go under SARFAESI, other than agricultural land. The hypothecation, you can go under SARFAESI, provided those two things are registered in the SARFAESI portal. For vehicle, wagon portal registration is sufficient. Lien, you cannot go under SARFAESI. Pledge, you cannot go under SARFAESI. Similarly, creation of any security interest in the aircraft defined under the Aircraft Act, you cannot go under SARFAESI. Creation of interest in any vessel as defined in the Merchant Shipping Act, you cannot go under SARFAESI. Okay. So now what is SARFAESI? What bank will do? So the account became NPA and the ineligible accounts you saw. So other than ineligible accounts, bank decides to go under SARFAESI. So first step, a notice to be issued to the borrower. So issuing of legal notice is not required before issuing the SARFAESI notice. So first a notice to be issued, a notice called demand notice. So demand notice is issued as per section 13(2) of the SARFAESI Act, both for movable and immovable. So keep in mind, SARFAESI action can be taken even for immovable items also, where bank is getting a charge called hypothecation. So demand notice as per section 13(2) of the SARFAESI Act, possession notice, movable items possession notice as per section 13(4) rule number 4, immovable section 13(4) rule number 8, possession, sale notice. There are three types of notices: demand notice, possession notice, and sale notice. Sale notice, movable section 13(4) rule number 6, immovable section 13(4) rule number 8. So these rules and sections are very important with regard to SARFAESI, mainly the demand notice. Section 13(2) of the SARFAESI Act talks about the demand notice. First, who has to take action under the SARFAESI Act? The authorized officer of the bank is having empowered to go and issue that is notices under the SARFAESI Act. Who is the authorized officer as per the SARFAESI Act? All scale 4 and above officers or can be designated as authorized officer. In Canara Bank, all scale 4 and above officers are already designated as authorized officer. First, the authorized officer will issue a demand notice. After issuing the demand notice, he has to wait for 60 days. That is why we call demand notice under section 13(2) is called 60 days notice. You ask for the borrower, this is the money you have to pay, please pay. If you do not pay within 60 days, bank will take possession of the property and dispose it off in the manner it fits deemed correct. Okay, the demand notice to be issued to the borrower, to be issued to the guarantor, if there is a co-obligant to the co-obligant, and to the mortgager of the property also. When the borrower and mortgager will be different. When a third-party property is taken as a collateral to a loan, the borrower and the mortgager will differ. So, since the property is in the name of the mortgager, in a third-party property, who is different other than the borrower, for the mortgager also, demand notice to be issued. So, it is a 60 days notice. Okay. Now, so what you will mention in the demand notice, bank has the right to take possession if you do not clear the dues within 60 days. Suppose if the unit is running very well, bank will take over the management of the unit, and then bank can appoint any person to manage the asset of the unit. Then bank will also demand the amount due to the borrower from any person who has to give to the unit, and the bank also has the right to dispose of the property. So under SARFAESI, let us not, so we also, some of us will have the notion it is only for a mortgaged property. No, even for a hypothecated property, if both for mortgage and hypothecated, if the SARFAESI registration is done and for vehicle wagon registration is done, so SARFAESI action is eligible. Okay, then under SARFAESI, let us not be under the impression only bank will take over the item and dispose it off, action it. No, if the unit is running very well, it is not necessary you have to dispose, you have to sell it under action. You can take over the management and you can appoint any person to run the unit and collect all the money due to the unit and credit to the borrower's account. These are all the things you will say within 60 days. If you are not clearing the dues, bank is prepared to do all those things. All these things will be mentioning in the demand notice. Then, no, suppose, let us assume the loan is given under consortium, or let us assume the loan is given under, sorry, next slide, went to the next slide. Okay. So the notice to be sent by registered acknowledgement to, what is the mode of sending demand notice under the SARFAESI Action, section 13.2. Notice can be sent by registered acknowledgement due, speed post, fax, mail. In any of these methods, notice can be sent, acknowledgement to be preserved. Acknowledgement, when you get the acknowledgement, you ensure that that acknowledgement tallies with the signature of the borrower or the email of the borrower, everything is pakka. If the borrower does not acknowledge your notice, demand notice, then you have to publish it in 2 local leading newspapers, out of which one is in the vernacular language. Okay, so acknowledgement you have to get. I told you about the mode of issuing the demand notice. If the demand notice is not served, it published in the two local leading newspapers, out of which one should be in the vernacular language. Suppose if the loan is covered under the consortium where you are having a share, or if the loan is covered under MBA, many banks are given under multiple banking arrangement. When the loan account becomes NPA, whether the single bank, so under consortium or multiple banking arrangement, how asset is classified. So, for example, 3 banks, let us assume bank A, B, C is formed a consortium and given a loan. In bank A, let us assume the borrower has paid the dues correctly. It is not either SMA 0, SMA 1 or SMA 2. The bank can classify it as without any overdue. Coming to bank B, if he is having an overdue of more than 30 days, bank B will classify it as SMA 1. Coming to bank C, if the overdues, if it is a term loan, overdues are more than 90 days, bank C will classify it as NPA. That means under consortium or under multiple banking arrangement, when a loan is given against a property to a borrower by 3-4 banks, the asset classification is based on a record of recovery in the respective banks. So again, I repeat, in the case of consortium or multiple banking arrangement, whenever loans are given against a collateral by 3 or 4 banks, the asset classification is based on the record of recovery in the respective banks. It is not linked to what is the asset classification in the other bank. It is not linked to what is the asset classification in the lead bank. In the lead bank, it may be NPA. In other banks, it may be a standard asset. Okay. Now the question is, in one bank, it has become NPA. In other banks, they are not, they are all in standard assets with overdues or without overdues. Overdues means SMA, without overdues means no SMA. Whether the bank, before issuing the demand notice under section 13.2, where the account has become NPA, whether the permission of other banks to be obtained? No. Under consortium accounts MBA, member banks can independently issue demand notice. You ask the other bank, either lead bank or other member banks, so my account has become NPA, so that is I am going to issue demand notice. Whether you get a reply, whether you don't get a reply, you need not wait for any permission, including from the lead bank. The bank in which it has become NPA can issue the demand notice without waiting for other banks. That is the point you should know. Then when you have to get, so that you will have read the paper, the mandatory requirement of 60% consensus, that is banks representing 60% of the amount outstanding should agree. So 3-4 banks are there. So banks in which out of 60% of the liability is outstanding put together, they should give permission only all of them. For example, ABC, 3 banks are there, 1 crore. In one bank, it is 20 lakhs. In another bank, it is 30 lakhs. In another bank, it is 50 lakhs. Where if you add the bank share, wherever the 60% more share is there, when you add the liability, those banks have to agree for issuing only a possession notice. The mandatory requirement of 60% consensus, that is banks representing 60% of the amount outstanding should agree, is only at the time of issuing the possession notice. Okay, this question they will ask you. The next one, file a caveat application in DRT code. Whenever you are issuing whenever you know there are two types of codes, that is civil code and DRT code. In civil code, normally, if I forget about SARFAESI action, normal cases, when the liability is less than 20 lakhs, we will file a suit in the civil code. If the liability is 20 lakhs and above, we will file a suit in the DRT code. Okay, earlier it was 10 lakhs. Now it is increased to last 2 years. It is increased to 20 lakhs and above. So suit filing in a civil code when the liability in an account is less than 20 lakhs. The liability is 20 lakhs and above, suit to be necessarily filed in the DRT code only. Coming to SARFAESI, irrespective of the liability in the account, whenever you go under SARFAESI, so you know when you can go under SARFAESI, we already see. Irrespective of the liability, whenever you issue a SARFAESI notice, either borrower or the bank has to approach only the DRT court of the respective jurisdiction. Cases related to SARFAESI action cannot be handled by civil court. Okay. So when you issue a SARFAESI notice, you have to file a caveat application in the DRT code. So what is the meaning of the caveat application? So you inform DRT, so and so has availed a loan from us. He has not repaid. The account has become NPA. We have issued a demand notice on the borrower and guarantor and the mortgager as per section 13(2) of the SARFAESI Act this date. So the borrower may approach you seeking a stay on the proceedings of the SARFAESI action by us. If the borrower approaches you seeking a stay, so we request you, please do not issue the stay order on the bank unilaterally. You call the bank also to put forth its view, then you take a decision. So that application is called the caveat application. So the caveat application to be given to the DRT court of the respective jurisdiction under whom you issued the demand notice. During the demand notice period, 60 days is a demand notice period. During the demand notice period, you issued the demand notice and you keep quiet, don't do anything about the property. So if any letter is received from the borrower or the mortgager or the guarantor, either seeking any clarification from you, or if they say, so please give me time another 2 months, 3 months, we will repay the loan, or please accept the 10,000 rupees, don't proceed under the SARFAESI. Anything, any letter you received from the borrower or co-obligant or the guarantor or the mortgager, all those things to be replied within 15 days. Okay, the time norms are important. Examiner is asking the question time norms also. So within 15 days, it has to be replied. If you do not reply, if you continue with the SARFAESI action, if that borrower goes to DRT court, DRT will issue a stay order on you. So once the stay order is issued, it is very difficult to vacate the stay order. So please follow all time norms under SARFAESI. So 60 days demand notice. During this notice, any question comes, please reply within 15 days. Then after 60 days is over, please take possession of the property by the authorized officer. There are two types of possession. One is actual possession, another one is symbolic possession. So what is actual possession? Borrower or guarantor or the mortgager hands over to you the possession, that is the property's key, lock and key is open, sir, you take over. So that is called actual possession. Mostly, we will not get actual possession. So the property would have been closed or it would have been leased. Somebody else will be living over there, or even the borrower may be living over there. In such cases, you cannot evict the borrowers. You cannot evict the tenants over there forcefully. Okay, you have to take only a symbolic possession. What is symbolic possession? The authorized officer and the other officials go to the property, place the taking over possession notice on the doors in the prominent place, and then take a photograph. So that is called taking symbolic possession. So if you want actual possession, if the borrower resists the actual possession, banks can approach the district magistrate. and seek his help to take actual possession of the property. Okay, so now, so 60 days you have waited. Within the 16 days, within any note, any request he is asking, you have to reply within 15 days. After 60 days is over, nothing comes from the borrower, no money is being repaid to the loan, the authorized officer to take possession, symbolic or actual possession. Okay, so that is what you have to do is you have to issue a possession notice. So we have taken possession of the property. You have pasted it, photographs, everything, sent to all the people. Send the notice by registered AD. So send the notice by registered, affix it on the property. It can be either actual or symbolic possession. So when the borrower can approach the DRT code. See, mere issuing of the demand notice, borrower cannot approach the DRT code. Normally, when you issue the demand notice under section 13(2), borrower, as per law, cannot approach the DRT code. Anyhow, on the safe side, you have filed a caveat application. Now, actually, as per the SARFAESI Act, when the borrower can approach DRT code, so borrower can approach DRT code without depositing any amount within 45 days of the possession notice. So issue a demand notice. So borrower can approach as per the law to DRT within 45 days of the possession notice. So 45 days they may ask, within 45 days within from which notice they may ask, or they may ask as per which section. So all the 3 points is covered there. First point, borrower can approach the DRT code without depositing any amount within 45 days of possession notice issued by the bank as per section 17 of the SARFAESI Act. DRT to dispose of all these cases within a period of 60 days. So it is a issue is a complicated issue. DRT can extend and give you a final call to another 4 months. So 60 days, another 4 months, totally 6 months. Okay. Suppose the DRT says Canara Bank is correct. You have to pay 1 crore to Canara Bank. So the borrower is not satisfied with the order of the DRT. So at the time of going to DRT, he need not deposit any money. Canara Bank asked 1 crore. At the time of going to DRT, after issuing the possession notice, within 45 days, as per section 17, the borrower need not deposit any amount with the DRT code. Once the DRT issues us the order, if it is not favorable to the borrower, then borrower will approach a court called DRT. Bank also can go. The bank is not satisfied with the order, bank also can go to DRAT. When the appeal, the DRAT expansion is Debt Recovery Appellant Tribunal, DRAT, Debt Recovery Appellant Tribunal. So he has to approach DRAT within 30 days of the DRT order. So by depositing 50% of the amount demanded ordered by DRT, section 18. Canara Bank has demanded 1 crore, DRT also says 1 crore. Canara Bank demanded 1 crore, DRT says 90 lakhs. 50% of the amount ordered by DRT, it has to be deposited with the DRAT. This is aspect, so you should know the sections also. 50%. At the time of going to DRT, no amount need be deposited. Section 17. Section 18 says, when he goes for an appeal to DRAT, 50% of the amount ordered to be deposited with the DRAT. This is as per section 18 of the SARFAESI Act. Suppose if the borrower says, sir, I do not have any money, so DRAT can reduce the deposit amount to 25%. Below 25%, a DD has to be given in favor of Canara Bank. So below 25%, so DRAT will not entertain the appeal. This has come with effect from 2016. Earlier, the DRAT can reduce it even to 0%. So DRAT can say, okay, if you're not able to pay any money, don't pay. But from 2016 SARFAESI Act amendment, so when he approaches DRAT, he has to deposit that is 50% as per section 18. As per the same section, it can be reduced to 25% by the DRAT. Less than 25%, your appeal will not be entertained. Then If the borrower resists actual possession, I told you, no. If the borrower resists actual possession, seek the assistance of district magistrate or chief metropolitan magistrate, whomsoever is the competent authority for that property. If the borrower resists actual possession, seek the assistance of district magistrate or chief metropolitan magistrate, who will get actual possession within 30 days. This amendment also has come in 2016. So the bank can approach the security creditor. So in the surface action or anywhere, bank has given a loan, bank is called a security creditor. So the security creditor will approach the district magistrate or chief metropolitan magistrate, who will get actual possession within 13 days. So who has to get? So this is as per section 14 of the Surface Act. So take possession, so publish, that is display it there, actual or symbolic. So then that is, if the borrower goes to DRAT, so DRT and DRAT, section 17, section 18, how much amount to be deposited, I told you. The borrower resists for actual possession, go to district magistrate, then you are taken possession, either symbolic or actual possession. So the possession notice, what you are pasted there, what you are taken, you have to publish in 2 leading newspapers, out of which one should be in the vernacular language. One should be the vernacular language within 7 days of taking possession. Number of days are important. The possession notice, which you have displayed in the premises of the party, has to be published within 7 days of taking possession in 2 local newspapers, out of which one should be in vernacular. If this 7 days is missed, if the borrower approaches the DRT court, DRT will issue a stay order on your proceedings. So there I told you within 15 days it has to be replied. Again here I am telling, so there is possession notice after issuing, you have to publish in 2 local newspapers within 7 days of that is taking possession. Okay. Then, so meanwhile, after when you issued the demand notice, itself, you have to go in the work of taking the valuation report for the property. So valuation is required to fix the reserve price for the property. Okay, don't wait till the possession is taken, because there will be more delay. So you issued a demand notice, you have to wait for 60 days. Within that 60 days, try to take a valuation report. Once you take the valuation report, it will be handed to you, because the reserve price has to be got fixed by some other authority. So you get the reserve price also. Okay. So you have issued the demand notice, waited for 60 days. In between, the reserve price got fixed. So 61st day, you went and took possession. 62nd day, you are published in the newspaper. So you have time within 7 days. What I told you, 60 days you waited. Meanwhile, you got the reserve price fixed by the appropriate authority. After taking the valuation report, 60 days is over. 61st day, you went and take possession of the property. After taking possession, you publish in 2 leading newspapers within 7 days. Let's assume 62nd day or 63rd day, you publish the paper publication. After publishing the paper publication, you can go for issuing the sale notice. After issuing the sale notice, you should not dispose the property within 30 days. Keep that in mind. So after taking possession, you need not wait for 30 days to issue a sale notice. Nowhere in the act it is told. After taking possession, it is told you have to publish it in 2 local papers within 7 days. After publishing it, you can go in for issuing the sale notice. That is why I told you, when you issue the demand notice itself, get the valuation done. Then the next question is, from how many valuation report you have to take for issuing the fixing the reserve price and issuing the sale notice? All of us are aware, at the time of sanctioning the loan, if the value of the property is 10 crores and above, we will get 2 valuation from the panel valuer, and the lower of the this value we will consider for sanctioning the loan. Then now, at the time of issuing the demand notice, if the original value of the property is more than 5 crores, you should not see what is the valuation of the property today. So when you want to go under SARFAESI, you have to get the valuation report from the panel valuer to fix the reserve price. Okay, now how many valuation report you have to take? And friends, please understand, you have to get the valuation report under SARFAESI only from SARFAESI approved valuers. Okay, they have special qualification. Only from them you have to obtain the valuation report. Normal panel valuers, you should not get the valuation report. You ask your R&L section, recovery section, they will tell you who are all the SARFAESI approved valuers. Okay, one valuation or two valuation. So before getting the valuation report, you take the loan documents and see at the time of sanctioning the loan, what is the value of the property. If the value of the property is 5 crores and above, then you have to get two valuation from two different SARFAESI approved valuers. Higher of the two valuation to be taken into account for fixing the reserve price. Okay, good. Now next point. Then one more thing. So when you have to take two valuations we are seeing. So one, when the original value of the property is 5 crores and above, we will take two valuation. In one more case also, we will take two valuation from the SARFAESI approved valuer. What is that? In respect of immovable properties of value more than 1 crore at the time of sanction for renewal, and the reduction now is more than 30% of the same, two valuations to be obtained and analyzed. Friends, I told you, whenever you are going to issue the SARFAESI notice, so you should have a valuation report, either one or two. And one more point I want to drive, that the valuation report should not be more than 12 months old. It should not be more than 1 year old, either one valuation or two valuation. When you will take two valuation, the original value of the property is 5 crores and above, you will take two valuation from two SARFAESI approved valuer. Second point, when the value of the property is more than 1 crore, at the time of sanction or renewal, now the valuation has come down below 30%. In that case also, two valuation to be taken. For example, this reduction is more than 30%. For example, the original that is a property value is 1 crore. At the time of last renewal or sanction, 1 crore. Now the property value has become 65% in the present valuation report. Then also you have to take two valuation from two SARFAESI approved valuer. Friends, you know, fixed assets valuation other than for retail lending to be done once in 3 years. Fixed asset valuation, immovable property valuation other than for retail loans to be done once in 3 years. Coming to retail loan, when you give a retail loan, either prime security or collateral security, housing loan is a prime, house is a prime security, Canara mortgage, house is a collateral security. Whenever you give a that is proper loan in certain retail loans like Canara housing loan, Canara mortgage, etc., Canara rent, etc. So when valuation to be done to the property. So in the other accounts once in 3 years, in the case of retail loans, certain loans you have to take valuation of the immovable property once in 5 years, provided that is the liability in the account is 50 lakhs and above as on the previous March. If the liability is 50 lakhs and above, you take valuation once in 5 years. Okay, now that is all additional inputs. Somebody else also would have told you again to make you very well for the exam. These things will be repetitive in many classes. Okay, so when the original value of the property is 5 crores and above, two valuation, then this case, which is the slide which is before you also, in this case also it is two valuation, and that is higher of the amount to be taken into account. Then in all cases, if valuation is more than 1 year old, fresh valuation to be obtained and reserve price to be fixed. Okay, you keep that in mind. Then if the variation in realizable value of the security between the new and immediate previous valuation. Okay, so one more point. If the difference in the value of the security in the new and immediate previous valuation is more than 20%, then reserve price will be fixed by the next higher, this something is told that. Okay, then reserve price to be fixed by the next higher authority. Okay, now Who has to fix the reserve price? Fixing reserve price. First time you are going for a sale. I told you before going in for a sale, you have to take the valuation and you have to get the reserve price fixed. Who is the authority to fix the reserve price in the bank? First time reserve price, so not less than the realizable value of the security. First time when people are going for sale, the reserve price should not be less than the realizable value of the security given in the valuation report. If two valuation reports are taken, the higher realizable value should be taken into account at the time of fixing the reserve price. The reserve price, first time when you go for auction, should not be less than the realizable value of the security. Okay, so who is the authority to fix the reserve price in the bank? Loans sanctioned by branches. Next higher authority at RO or CO has the power to fix the reserve price. If the branch is reporting to RO, authorities in the RO will fix the reserve price. If the branch is reporting to circle office like ELB, etc., then circle office people will fix the reserve price. Loans sanctioned by COs and ROs, respective sanctioning authorities who that is sanctioned the loan can fix the reserve price. Third point, loan sanctioned by HO. Whomsoever sanctioned the loan in HO, either MC of the board or CAC of the board or ED of the board, GM, CGM, HO has power to fix the reserve price for the loan. So who has to fix the reserve price? First time you are going for action, the fixing the reserve price, the condition is reserve price cannot be less than the price realizable value of the security given in the valuation report. If two valuation reports are given, the higher valuation should be taken into account. Loans sanctioned by branches, next higher authority at RO or CO will fix the reserve price. If the loan is sanctioned by RO or CO, the respective sanctioning committee, RO or CO, will fix the reserve price. If the loan is sanctioned by anybody in HO, GM, CGM, HO, CAC will fix the reserve price. Okay. So now, and one more point also is that, so that is, so what I told you, you see the slide, loan sanctioned by branches, next higher authority at RO or CO. Loan sanctioned by RO, CO, respective sanctioning authority. You see this point. If the variation realizable value of the security between the new and immediate previous valuation. So you are taken a new valuation and that is immediate previous valuation is there. And if there is reduction variation is more than 20%, so the reserve price to be fixed by the next higher authority. So here I told you loan sanctioned by ROCO, respective sanctioning authority. If the variation in the reserve value of the security is more than 20%, then ROCO cannot fix the reserve price. It has to be fixed by the next higher authority. Okay, then I told you at the time of going for the first sale, that is the reserve price cannot be less than the realizable value of the security. You went for one action. Let us assume the realizable value of the security is 1 crore. You fix the reserve price as 1 crore. You went for action. The action was not successful. In that case, whether anybody can reduce the reserve price. So these questions were asked last previous exam. For 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, any level, these questions will be there. If sale is not true, so first time reserve price cannot be less than the realizable value of the security. If sale is not true, then reduction in the reserve price is possible. Who can reduce the reserve price if the first sale is not true? Up to 90% of the realizable value of the security. So originally the reserve price is equivalent to the value of the realizable value of the security. When the sale is not true, reserve price can be reduced up to 90% of the realizable value of the security, duly ensuring that such reduction does not exceed 10% of the previous reserve price by the same authority who had fixed the reserve price for the first time. So original somebody has fixed the reserve price for the first time. The same authority can reduce it and fix it. Reduction cannot be more than 10%. So in the second, fixing the reduced reserve price also, sale is not true. then who can reduce the reserve price for that? So in the second, you have brought it down to 90% of the realizable value, sale is not through, respective sanctioning authority. Then further reduction in the reserve price is expected. If sale is not through, reduction in the reserve price is possible up to 80% of the realizable value of the security by next higher authority. So up to 90%, same authority who has given the original reserve price. Up to 80% when again the sale is not through. Every time after reducing the reserve price, bank has to go in for the sale. In that sale, the bank is not successful, then bank can think of reducing the reserve price. First time you went on sale, you did not succeed. The first time the reserve price is equivalent to the realizable value of the security. Second time you go on sale. When you go on sale for the second time, so at that time, you can reduce the reserve price maximum 90% of what you have fixed. So by the same respective sanctioning authority. So if the sale is not successful, then up to the reduction in the sale price, up to 90% of the realizable value of the security can be done by the next higher authority. Then circulate CAC, they can reduce it up to 75% of the realizable value of the security. So who can reduce the realizable value of the security? Every time, whenever the auction is not successful, it is that. Reduction in the RP means that is reserve price. Reduction in the reserve price below 75%. So who has to permit? So if the sanctioned limit is up to 25 crores, if the reduction in the price is reserve price is more than 75%, up to 65%. If the sanctioned limits is 25 crores, up to 25 crores, CGM, GM, HOCSE. If the sanctioned limit is above 25 crores and less than 50 crores and expected realizable value of the securities reserve price is less than 65 up to 60, ED, HOCSE. Like that. So table is there. Who can reduce the the reserve price below the realizable value up to 40%, up to 60%, up to 65%, up to 75%, etc. is there in this slide. Questions were asked last time. Okay, so you should be able to know the slide. So reduction in the reserve price below 75% of the realizable value up to 75%, circulate CAC can permit. Then so you have fixed the reserve price. So you took possession, everything is over. Now you have to issue the demand notice. So when to issue the demand notice, there is no time given. After taking possession, within how many days you can issue demand notice. Only one time is given. After taking possession, either symbolic or actual, issue demand notice. So publish the demand notice in 2 local leading newspapers within 7 days. That's what it is mentioned. So after publishing it within 7 days, at any time you can go for issuing the sale notice, provided you already got the valuation, you already got the reserve price fixed. Okay, once you issue the sale notice, you have to wait for 30 days. You have to wait for 30 days. So issue 30 days sale notice to all the concerned, again through registered post, etc. If they are not acknowledged, all have to acknowledge. If they are not acknowledged your sale notice, published in the 2 local newspapers, of which one is the vernacular. Then sale to be effected after completion of 30 days only. Like demand notice, no, that is for 60 days. Here sale to be effected after waiting for 30 days only. Now, the next point is very important point. This is also again an amendment in 2016. Right to redeem the property by the mortgagor is available till the publication of sale notice. I will explain this sentence. Before that, I will explain, you will understand. Earlier, before the amendment has come in the SARFAESI Act, suppose bank has issued a possession notice. Borrower did not turn up. Bank has taken possession and issued the sale notice. After sale notice is 30 days is over, borrower has not turned up. Then the bank has went for a bid and went for an action. In that action, there is a successful bidder. So 1 crore bank has asked, that fellow has also accepted for 1 crore. He has paid the 1 crore also. So once the purchaser, the successful bidder pays that money, bank will issue a recovery certificate or some certificate. So along with the purchaser, bank has to go to sub-registrar office and the property to be got transferred in the name of the purchaser. Before the amendment, the last sentence amendment issued by the SARFAESI Act, the borrower has the right to redeem or the mortgager has the right to redeem the property till actually the property is transferred from the bank's name to the, that is the purchaser's name. So they went to sub-registrar office. So they have prepared a sale deed. Bank is selling the property to the purchaser. So bank has to sign on behalf of bank, and then the purchaser also will sign. It will be registered in the sub-registrar office records. So till such a time, till that effect of property is transferred in the purchaser's name, the borrower can run coming to the bank and say, I am giving you whatever money you ask, take this money and give me back the property. Because sentimentally, I want that property. I took this much time to collect money for this property. So earlier, borrower has the right to redeem the property till the property is transferred in the name of the purchaser. Bank has to necessarily give the property to the that is to the borrower and not to the purchaser. Even though purchaser has paid the full money, the money to be refunded to the purchaser. Okay, now after the amendment in 2016 has been made in the SARFAESI Act, borrower has the right to redeem the property till the publication of sale notice only. So borrower can give the money and collect back the property till you publish the sale notice. After you issue the sale notice, borrower does not have the right to redeem the property, but if you want to give back the property to the borrower, you can give back. So this question they will ask. Right to redeem the property under the SARFAESI Act is available to the borrower or mortgager till what date? It is available till the publication of the sale notice only in the amendment. Okay, sir. What are the way in which you will dispose of the property after giving 30 days sale notice? After 30 days is over, property to be sold either by inviting tenders, holding public auction, by obtaining quotations, by private treaty also. Suppose you went for auction, the auction and all is not successful. Then you can fix it personally as a banker. You can find out a purchaser. He says, sir, I do not want to participate in the auction, etc., but I want to buy the property between an agreement between you and me. That is called a private treaty. So property can be sold through private treaty also. What are all the conditions for selling the property instead of public auction under private treaty? If the value of the property is up to 100 lakhs, if the value of the property is up to 100 lakhs, one attempt to be made to sell the property through public auction or action by inviting tenders, etc., before opting for sale by private treaty. So you should have gone for a public action. If the value of the property or the reserve price is less than up to 100 lakhs, you should have gone in for a public action. If that public action failed, then only you can go for a private treaty. The second point. Suppose if the value of the property or the reserve price you have fixed is more than 100 lakhs, then you go for first action, you have failed. You go for a second action, there also you fail. Then only you can go for a private treaty. Now another type of question what they are asking. So first is when you will go for private treaty. Reserve price up to 100 lakhs, reserve price above 100 lakhs. Then the next question is, so whether I told you when you issue the sale notice first time, 30 days time to be given. Now you are doing re-auction. You are doing every time re-auction. Whether 30 days sale notice to be given or lesser number of days is sufficient. If there are no major changes in your original sale notice, the major change is only mainly the reserve price. If you have not reduced the reserve price, either in the first sale notice or in the second sale notice, 15 days notice period for sale notice is sufficient. This question they will ask. So at least 2 attempts to be made as above before opting for sale by private treaty. I already told you. 15 days sale notice is given if there is no change in the reserve price. There is no major change. Okay, so place would have been different, time would have been different, etc. The result price continues to be the same. In that case, it is sufficient if we give 15 days sale notice and not 30 days sale notice. Okay, then whether you have to conduct the auction, e-auction or physical auction, online or offline. If the liability is less than 4 lakhs, then you can either go in for online auction or offline auction. But if the liability is more 4 lakhs and above, necessarily you have to conduct only online, the e-auction only to be conducted. Okay, sir? Then leave it. On the date of conclusion of sale, as I told you, one person has become a successful bidder. So at the time of accepting the bid, normally 10% of the reserve price he should have paid to you. Then he has participated in the bid or tender. So he has become the successful bidder. So on the day of completion of that is bidding, where he has become successful bidder, he should pay you another 15% of the reserve price. That means on the date of conclusion of the sale, 25% of the reserve price has to be paid by the successful bidder, including the earnest money deposit. I told you, minimum we will ask 10% to participate in the bid. So along with that, or any money what he has paid as the earnest money deposit, along with that he has to pay the remaining on the conclusion of the sale. 25% of the reserve price should have been collected from the successful bidder. The balance within how many days he can pay? So within 15 days, balance amount to be paid. So if he says, sir, I cannot pay within 15 days, the secured creditor is the bank. The secured creditor can give 3 months time to the borrower to pay the balance 75% of the amount. Sale will be confirmed only. This is very important. So you will say you are a successful bidder provided the offered price by the purchaser is more than the reserve price. At least the offered price by the bidder should be more than the reserve price. Then only you will say he is a successful bidder. So upon successful bidder, issue a sale certificate upon receipt of the entire sale process. You have to issue a sale certificate upon that is equal to a sale deed. However, you have to complete the formalities by transferring the property in his name. Okay, then. So this is with regard to the SARFAESI Act. Now the other things are not done in the SARFAESI. We will quickly go through the questions, sir. We will quickly go through the questions. You will be able to answer all the questions in the SARFAESI Act. Now the question is before you. So okay. So it is now, this is all resolution agent. The question paper is before you. I will see where the SARFAESI is there. That is. Okay, so that is question number 70. As question number 70, from there we are starting the SARFAESI. So I explained to you what is SARFAESI, how we are proceeding under the SARFAESI, etc. So by means of the question and answer type, these questions, some of the questions have been asked in the previous exam by IBPS, and also to give you a confidence level, these questions are prepared with answers. Friends, instead of asking for the answers for these questions, please concentrate on the subject, understand the concept. Okay, sir. Question number 70. As per the recovery policy given in HO Circular 147/2022, branches shall arrange to issue demand notice under section 13(2) within how many days of account becoming NPA and seek permission from higher authorities before issuing the possession notice under section 13(4). Friends, for authorized officers are entitled to issue the demand notice as per section 13(2). If an account becomes NPA and if the account is eligible for SARFAESI action, the authorized officer has to issue demand notice within 3 days of the account becoming NPA. This clear-cut question was asked last time. For which scale, I don't remember. This question was there. SARFAESI action to be issued within 3 days from the account becoming NPA. You need not wait for permission from your next higher authority, RO, CO, HO, etc. But before issuing the possession notice, I told you after issuing the demand notice, 60 days time is there. within the 60 days time, appropriate notes to be placed to the appropriate authority, and before you issue the possession notice, permission to be obtained. So question number 70, answer is A. Question number 70, answer is A. Question number 71. Which of the following accounts are not eligible under SARFAESI? A. Security interest created in agricultural land, time barred accounts, liabilities rupees 1 lakh and below, CERSOI not registered accounts, A to D all. Which of the following accounts are not eligible under SARFAESI? Your option is E, A to D all, are all not eligible under SARFAESI. Question number 72. The security interest created by a borrower under the provisions of the SARFAESI Act enable the bank to ensuring repayment of the loan, for enforcing the security with court intervention, for enforcing the security without court intervention, for enforcing the security if the documents get time barred. So the answer is the security interest created by a borrower, security creditor, security created by a borrower, provide under SARFAESI provisions, enable the bank to for enforcing the security without the court intervention. So question number 72, your answer is should be question number 72, your answer should be C, for enforcing the security without court intervention. Okay, so that question number 73. For initiating an action against the borrower, question number 73 we are seeing, for initiating an action against the borrower, as per SARFAESI provisions, the credit facility should have been classified as NPA. Question number 73, answer is D. If there are overdues only, you cannot go under SARFAESI. The account should have been classified as NPA. Question number 73, answer is D. Question number 74. As per SARFAESI Act 2002, a bank or financial institution that lends money against a security is called, I told you, no, secured creditor. A bank or a financial institution gives money against a security is called secured creditor. Question number 24, answer is D. Question number 74, answer is D. Question number 75. Demand notice is issued by the secured creditor as per provisions of dash of SARFAESI Act 2002. You know, as per section 13.2. So, okay, demand notice is issued as per section 13.2. Then question number 76. Who is the authority to sign the demand notice in the bank? Circle head, branch head, authorized officers, none of these. Authorized officers. So as per the SARFAESI Act, minimum scale 4 and above should be the authorized officer. In some banks, scale 5 may be the authorized officer. In some banks, scale 6 may be the authorized officer. As per the Act, it should be scale 4 and above. In Canara Bank also, it is scale 4 and above. So question number 77, question number 76, answer is C. Question number 76, answer is C. Then question number 77. Okay, question number 77. In our bank, the authorized officers are scale 5 and above, scale 4 and above, scale 6 and above, scale 3 and above. In our bank, that is scale 4 and above. Okay, question number 77, answer is B. Question number 78. What is the mode of issuing the demand notice? Question number 78. What is the mode of issuing the demand notice? Hand delivery against acknowledgement, registered post acknowledgement due, speed post, courier, fax or email. Your options are A, 1 to 3 any, B, 1 to 4 any, C, 1 to 5 any, D, none of these. Your option is C, 1 to 5 any. Okay, question number 78, answer is C. Question number 79. Under consortium, banks to classify the advance as per IRAC norms, income recognition, asset classification. Under consortium, banks to classify their advances as per IRAC norms based on lead bank classification, classification of the bank which has the highest share, record of recovery in respective banks, none of these. Question number 79, answer is C. You need not classify what other banks have classified. If it is SMA, you classify as SMA. If it is no overdues, classify as a normal advance. If it is NPA, classify as NPA. It is based on record of recovery in the respective banks. Question number 79, answer is C. Question number 80. A large company is sanctioned credit facilities under consortium and few member banks want to issue demand notice under the SARFAESI Act. Leader bank should agree. 60% of banks by number should agree. 60% of banks by amount should agree. Individual banks can issue if there is delay on the part of the lead bank. Question number 80, answer is D. Question number 80, answer is D. So when that is 60% of banks by amount should agree only for issuing the possession notice. Okay, question number 80, answer is D. Question number 81. If the borrower raises certain objection and send a letter to the bank seeking time for payment for the demand notice, bank has to reply to him within how many days from the date of receipt of the letter? Within 15 days. Okay, within 15 days. Question number 81, answer is 15 days is not there. None of these. Correct answer. Question number 81, answer is D. Correct answer is 15 days. Question number 82. If there is no response from the borrowers, even after 60 days of issue of the demand notice, bank to take possession of the securities is mentioned in which section of the SARFAESI Act? I told you know in which section possession notice to be issued under the SARFAESI Act. If there is no response from the borrower, even after 60 days of issue of the demand notice, bank to take possession of the securities is mentioned in which section of the SARFAESI Act? Section 13(4). Section 13(4). Rule number 4 for movable. Please note it down. Possession notice is under section 13(4). If it is movable, rule number 4. If it is immovable, rule number 8. Again, I repeat, section 13(4) is the possession notice. So rule number 4 is for movable, rule number 8 for immovable. Question number 83. If the borrower or mortgager is not cooperative and or resists in taking actual possession, the branch shall make an application to the Chief Metropolitan Magistrate or the District Magistrate, as the case may be, for taking possession as per which section of the SARFAESI Act. That we already seen as per section 14. So friends, they may ask you the section, or they may ask you to whom you have to take up, within how many days they have to help you, etc., etc. As per sections, that is 14 of the SARFAESI Act, which is amended in 2016, banks have to approach the Chief Metropolitan Magistrate or District Magistrate, as the case may be, for taking possession as per physical possession, actual possession, as per section 14 of the SARFAESI Act. Okay, so the Metropolitan Magistrate has to help you in taking possession within 30 days. Okay, question number 83, answer is C. Question number 83, answer is C. Question number 84. Sorry. Question number 84. Under section 14 of the SARFAESI Act, I told you no, section 14. Under section 14 of the SARFAESI Act, Chief Metropolitan Magistrate or District Magistrate is bound to take possession of the secured assets and any documents relating to such assets and hand over such assets and documents to the bank within a period of 30 days. Question number 84, answer is A. Question number 84, answer is A. Question number 85. As per the newly introduced section of SARFAESI Act, as per 2016 amendment, DRTs are empowered to decide on the issues related to the tenancy, lease, and no other court's judicial forums has the jurisdiction to entertain any such litigation. Friends, before you take an immovable property as a collateral, you have to ensure that there are no tenants over there. You should also ensure that the property is not leased out. Before that is giving a loan itself, banks have to ensure, because after you give the loan, That is, at that time itself, there are somebody, there is a proof that is leased out to somebody or some tenants are there. It is very difficult to go under SARFAESI because DRT will say when already somebody is having a lease or there is tenants are there, how you have given the loan as security to the property, because evicting them is very difficult. Anything, any case relate to any litigation with regard to tenancy law or any other law relating to vacating the person, people have to approach only the DRT code. This is as per newly introduced section 17(4)(a). This is question number 85, 17(4)(a), within brackets 4A. As per section 17(4)(a) of SARFAESI Act, DRTs are empowered to decide on the issues related to tenancy, lease, and no other court judicial forum has the jurisdiction to entertain such litigation. Section 17(4)(a). Question number 86. In respect of doubtful on loss assets, with book liability exceeding rupees 50 lakhs for taking possession of the securities, both movable as well as immovable, bank can utilize the services of, that is, bank can utilize the services of recovery agents, SARFAESI agents, resolution agents, none of these. Here they are called resolution agents. Question number 86. That is, it is resolution agent. Okay, if the liability is 50 lakhs and above, and it is a doubtful on loss asset, bank can utilize the services of the resolution agent. If the liability is less than 50 lakhs, bank can utilize the services of SARFAESI agent. When to utilize the services of the SARFAESI agent? When to utilize the services of the resolution agent? Resolution agent can be assisted in the SARFAESI action if it is a loss on doubtful assets and if the liability is exceeding 50 lakhs. In other cases, the SARFAESI recovery agents will help you in recovery. So for question number 86, answer is C. Question number 87. After taking possession, bank has to publish the possession notice. After taking possession, bank has to publish the possession notice in 2 leading newspapers within dash days of taking possession, out of which one should be in vernacular language having sufficient circulation in the locality within 7 days. Question number 87, answer is B. Question number 87, answer is B. Question number 88. Within how many days the borrower has to approach DRT code for possession notice under SARFAESI, and how much amount he has to deposit as per section 17 of the Act. I told you the borrower is empowered, the borrower is permitted to go to DRT against the issue of your possession notice only. Not just because of the demand notice, he has no right to approach the DRT code. Only if he issues takes possession, after issuing the possession notice, within 45 days, he has to approach the DRT code without depositing any money. This is as per section 17 of the Act. Within 45 days, no need for any deposit. Question number 88, answer is B. Question number 89. If the borrower is not satisfied, if the borrower is not satisfied with the order of the DRT code, he can approach DRAT, Debt Recovery Appellant Tribunal. If the clerical officer people are attending the class, you know you have to answer 200 questions. Out of the 200 questions, 10 to 15 questions for expansion. Expand DRAT, expand IMPS, expand IFSC. Okay, you should also know the expansion. And the borrower is not satisfied with the DRT, Debt Recovery Tribunal code, he can approach Debt Recovery Appellant Tribunal without how many days and how much he has to deposit as per section. So section is also important. Within 14 days and no deposit is required. Question number 89, answer is B, B for Bombay. Question number 90. As per the amendment to SARFAESI Act in 2016, borrower has the right to redeem the property till publication of sale notice only. So earlier it was till sale is completed. Now for question number 90, answer is B. till publication of the sale notice only, either the borrower or the mortgagor has the right to redeem the property. Afterwards, it is your choice. Question number 91. If the original value of the property is rupees dash crores and above, two valuations to be taken for proceeding under SARFAESI. Original value is 5 crores and above. Question number 91, answer is C. Question number 91, answer is C. Question number 92. Wherever the valuation which is obtained after the account becoming NPA is more than 1 year old, branches officers shall obtain fresh valuation through SARFAESI empaneled valuer before fixing the reserve price. All panel valuers are not SARFAESI empaneled valuer. They have some special qualification under the Wealth Tax Act of the Government of India. So they should have passed the test, etc., etc. All panel valuers are not SARFAESI approved valuer. You have to find out who is the SARFAESI approved valuer. To them only you have to give the valuation. Okay, whenever the valuation which is obtained after the account becoming NPA is more than 1 year old. Question number 92, answer is C. Question number 92, answer is C. Authorized officer has to serve the sale notice and wait for how many days before effecting the sale? 30 days. I told you sale notice to be issued and wait for sale for 30 days. So after taking possession, you have to publish in the 2 newspapers within 7 days of publishing. After publishing in the newspaper, you need not wait for any number of days for issuing the sale notice. After issuing the sale notice only, you have to wait for 30 days. Okay, question number 93, answer is 90 days. Question number 93, answer is 90 days. Question number 94. If the authorized officer fails to conduct the sale of the immovable property by any of the methods, sale can be conducted again by the authorized officer by serving, affixing, and publishing notice of sale of not less than dash days to the borrower in the case there is no change in the reserve price. However, if there is any material change affected in the sale notice, like change in the reserve price, 30 days time to be given to the borrower. So for your fill in the blank, answer is 15 days. Question number 94, answer is C. Question number 94, answer is C. So in between, certain questions are there, which I have not put in the question paper because questions will become lengthy. I told you first time when you fix the reserve price, it should not be less than the realizable value of the security. Who has to fix the reserve price? Branch sanctions. It has to be fixed by people in RO or CO. And if it is CORO sanction, respective sanctioning authority. If it is HO sanction, GGM, CGM, HOCAC. If the action is failed, then the respective sanctioning authority can reduce it up to 90%. So if further the action is failed, up to 80% of the reserve price, next higher authority can reduce. Circulate CAC can reduce up to 75%. Beyond 75%, who is the authority to reduce the reserve price? I already put in the table. So that numbers you should know. Okay, very important. Okay, question number 94, answer is C. Question number 94, answer is C. Question number 95, sale of assets under SARFAESI can be confirmed when the buyer pays 25% of the amount, including EMD of 10% on the date of action and balance 75% within 15 days. Within 15 days. If that is balance 75% within 15 days, he wants some more time. He wants some more time. Bank can give him time up to 3 months. Okay, if that question off, you should not miss it. If he wants some more time, within 15 days, he has to pay the entire money, including the 25%. Already 25% he has paid. So balance he has to pay within 15 days of successful sale, and the bank can give him time maximum of 3 months. So for question number 95, within 15 days. Question number 95, answer is 15 days. Question number 96. Sale will be confirmed only when offered price is equal to or more than the reserve price B, offered price is more than the reserve price, either A or B. D, none of these. Sale will be confirmed only when the offered price is more than the reserve price. When the offered price is more than the reserve price. The next point, question number 97. The maximum fees payable to the SARFAESI agent is the maximum fees payable to the SARFAESI agent is answer is D. Question number 97. Question number 97. Sorry. The answer is B. Anyway, we'll see the table now before concluding the session. Answer should be B. So, rupees 2 lakhs or 2% of the reserve price fixed, whichever is less. Okay, question number 97. Answer is B. Anyway, we'll see the slide, sir. Question number 98. As per HO Circular 433/2020, read along with Circular 284/2021, who has powers to fully write off without OTS in the bank? You note it down. So anyhow, when it goes to, that is the answer for the question number 98 is D. Answer for question number 98 is D in the OTS policy that is explained in detail. Question number 98, answer is D. Question number 99. For recommending the accounts for writing off without OTS, which one of the following is not relevant? Account should have been completed 5 years or more from the date of advance, continuing in NPA for a minimum period of 3 years. The account should have been classified as loss as on 31st previous March. None of these. See, you know, the account becomes NPA. After the account becoming NPA, you are doing various methods for recovery. You are not successful. You are asking the borrower to come for OTS. He is not coming for OTS. So after the account becomes an NPA, you want to complete, you want to write off it without any OTS. Then those cases to be permitted by head office only, subject to certain conditions. What are those conditions? One, from the date of sanction, 5 years should have been there. The account should have been in NPA for at least for a minimum period of more than 3 years. Third point, what is given here? The account should have been classified as loss asset in the previous year, previous March. Only when these three things are taken place, and if the borrower wants full write-off without any OTS, it has to be permitted by none other than head office executive committees only. CO, RO, branch has no power. So the answer for the question, which is not relevant, none of them are not relevant. That means all of them are relevant. Question number 99, answer is D. Question number 900. The following agencies are empaneled by the bank for what purpose? Procurement Technologies Private Limited, Mrs. Anthra System Limited, Mrs. C1 India Private Limited, Mrs. Canara Bank Computer Services Limited, Mrs. Metal Scrap Trade Corporation. They are resolution agents, SARFAESI agents, recovery agents, agents for e-auction. So question number 100, answer is D. Question number 100, answer is D. Question number 101. Passport details of promoters, promoter directors, and guarantors are to be obtained for limits above rupees 5 crores. They would have told you in the credit policy or risk management policy. And anyhow, connected to recovery, passport details of promoters, promoter directors, and guarantors are to be obtained for limits of above rupees 5 crores. Coming to question number 102. In all loans of rupees 5 crores and above, question number 102, in all loans of rupees 5 crores and above, other details of applicant, co-applicant, guarantors are to be updated in CBS. Okay, sir. Now we have seen the SARFAESI. So in SARFAESI, 1 or 2 points, 1 or 2 slides I have to explain to you. So I will explain. So I think everything is explained to you now. So now the recovery agents I already told you. So there are 3 categories of the recovery agents. Again, I will repeat for the day. That is persuasive method without any force, retired government employees, retired employees of public sector units, including our bank. Then seizure of vehicles, tractors. These people we will not employ. That is, when you want to go and take, then persons or some agencies we will employ. Third one, the second one can also do the first job, but mainly the second one will do the seizure job. Then third one, SARFAESI recovery agent. So bank appoints 3 types of recovery agents. One is the retired people of the bank and public sector or government. Second one is the seashore agents. Third one is surface recovery agents. Then recovery agents to undergo training conducted by IIBF for 100 hours. Exception is retired employees of public sector banks are exempted. Permission from circle gate to be obtained for empanelment. If the recovery agents do not sign the agreement within 6 months of empanelment, they stands cancelled. Then the people have to keep an EMT deposit, earnest money deposit of 1 lakh, the surface agents. If they are retired government employees or retired public sector employees, including retirees of our bank, they have to make a earnest money deposit of 50,000. Then period of agreement is 2 years, may be continued for another 2 years. Then over and above the recovery agents who are empaneled by the circle, head office also empanel recovery agents, that is like companies, limited liability partnership, NBFC, who have all India presence to act as recovery agents pan-India. So the earnest money deposit they have to deposit is 5 lakhs. So here it is only 1 lakh or 50,000. Here it is 5 lakhs, which can be maximum reduced up to 50% by Executive Director CAC. Okay, who can entrust the work? Already I told you. RO get to entrust NPA and a doubtful loss and written off with book liability up to 50 lakhs per account. Beyond 50 lakhs, circle head can allot. Substandard also. So normally to the recovery agent, you will give only doubtful loss written off accounts. Even the substandard accounts can be entrusted to the recovery agents if the minimum period is 6 months. This question was asked last time. Recovery agents should not collect cash before seizure by recovery agents. 15 days notice to be given to the borrower by the bank. Bank will write a letter to the borrower. You are not paid the money. We have engaged so and so as the recovery agent. If you are not clearing the dues within 15 days, the recovery agents on behalf of me come and seize your vehicle. Then after taking the seizure, so you have to sell it. There is no meaning in keeping the vehicle with you. Before that is affecting the sale, again 15 days notice will be given by the bank to the borrower. We have effected seizure. Your vehicle is in our custody. It is the safe place of my recovery agent. If you are not paying the loan within 15 days, we will be actioning off your vehicle. 15 days notice to be given. Then, so any grievances against the recovery agent, there is a cell at head office. Head of the cell is GM or DGM of the circle. All grievances with regard to the recovery agents to be redressed within 30 days. These things I have not given in the question paper because it will take a lot of time if I give that one also in the question paper by means of the presentation I have made. So you have to go through. What is the fee schedule for the recovery agents? If it is a persuasive method, if it is substandard, 3% of the amount recovered. If it is persuasive method, if it is doubtful asset, 5% of the amount recovered. If it is a loss or return of account, 10% of the amount recovered is the fee schedule for the, 10% is the fee schedule for the recovery agent. Maximum 5 lakhs. If the borrower settles the account under OTS due to efforts of the recovery agents, 50% of the above fee can be given to the recovery agents. So normally, bank will allot only 5 borrower accounts to a recovery agent. If the bank has allotted, if the recovery agents are good, if the bank has allotted more than 5 borrower accounts up to 10 borrower accounts, then additional 5% incentive he is eligible. More than 10 up to 15 borrowers, 10%. More than 15 borrowers, we will not entrust. The above is called the step-up fees for the recovery agent. The maximum, so the original maximum fee can be 5 lakhs. Similarly, the step-up fee also maximum 5 lakhs. This is in addition to the normal fee up to 5 borrower account. Then for seizure, two-wheeler 2,000, for auto 3,000, car, jeep, tractors, light vehicle 8,000, heavy vehicle 10,000. RO and CO head may permit additional 4,000 on case-to-case basis. Friends, we may think these things are meaningless. Why the examiner will ask that? But examiners are very much interested in asking you questions wherever they find some number in the circular. Okay, sir. You should also know what is the fees I have to pay to the registry agent. So immediately you cannot search somewhere. It is already there in your recovery policy. Then surface agents. I told you three types of recovery agents. Persuasive method. Then second method is the usury agent. Third method is the surface agent. What type of loans you will entrust to the surface agent for recovery? Less than 50 lakhs book liability. So doubtful, loss and return of account 50 lakhs and above, you will ask the resolution agents to help you. If the amount is less than 50 lakhs, you can ask the surface agents to assist you in recovery and for the surface action. So what is the fees payable to the surface recovery agent? Surface resolution agent, we will see in the next slide. They are surface recovery agent. Pre-inspection and post-inspection of the property. Sorry, pre-inspection. So before taking possession, minimum 2,500, maximum 5,000. Obtaining order. They will help you in obtaining order from district magistrate for taking actual possession. 0.2% of the market value as per the valuation report or book liability, whichever is less, minimum 10,000, maximum 30,000. Assisting in taking possession, publication of the possession notice, movable maximum 25,000, immovable for symbolic possession 5,000, actual possession maximum 50,000. Maximum 2% of the reserve price or 5 lakhs, whichever is less. If the recovery is made within 6 months, additional incentive of 0.25% of reserve price or rupees 1 lakh, whichever is less, is payable to the surface recovery agents. Now, let us see who is the resolution agent. Now, let us see who is the resolution agent. Individuals are not eligible to be empaneled as resolution agent. First point. Only agencies like NBFCs, government approved actioneers, firms, etc., expertise in recovery are eligible to be appointed as resolution agent. Should have, so which is correct, which is the odd man out with regard to resolution agent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you know the subject, you can take the odd man out, or none of these you can take. If you do not know the subject, you have to make a shaky over that. Okay, individuals are not eligible. Only agencies like NBFC, government approved actioners, firms, etc. are eligible in recovery. Should have 5 years experience of conducting auction in government departments. Mostly they will assess the authorized officers in surface. So the resolution agents will assess 2 to 5 agents will be engaged in each circle. I told you, no, doubtful asset, loss asset and return of assets also with liability exceeding rupees 50 lakh to be entrusted to the resolution agent. For surface recovery agents less than 50 lakhs. Okay, so exceeding 50 lakhs will be given to the resolution agent. So the validity of the panel of the resolution agent is 3 years. You know, the valid of the panelity of the recovery agent is 2 years. It can be renewed for another 2 years. Here, the validity is only 3 years. So the EMD, earnest money deposit, to be deposited by the resolution agent is rupees 5 lakhs. In recovery agent, if it is normally it is 1 lakh. If it is a retired employee, it is only 50,000. In the case of pan-India recovery agents, it is 5 lakhs. ED can reduce it up to 50% of that 5 lakhs. Coming to resolution agent, no reduction. It is only an agency. 5 lakhs they have to make the earnest money deposit. What is the fees payable to the resolution agents? Doubtful assets outstanding less than and up to 5 years, 5% of the recovered amount or book recovered 5% of the recovered amount or book liability. It is not off, it is book liability or book liability, whichever is less, maximum 12 lakhs. Okay. If it is doubtful more than 5%, more than 5 years, 5% as above. That is 5% of the recovered amount or book liability, whichever is less, maximum 15 lakhs. Point number 4, if you assist in recovered loss or return of account, 7% of the recovered amount or book liability, whichever is less, maximum 20 lakhs. Friends, They are asking the fee structure also. That is why I made a tabular column and made the fee structure both for recovery agents as well as resolution agents, SARFAESI recovery agents also. So be thorough with that. That is what is the fees to be paid by the bank. Okay, these are all the things in the that is SARFAESI action, or what you say, that is questions, PowerPoint presentation, the recovery policy. So we started with SMA, SMA extra, so many things. Then we concluded with the SARFAESI action. We concluded with the recovery agents. We concluded with the resolution agents. Okay, please be thorough. So just 5 minutes before winding up, it is 8:46, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. I will start the OTS policy of the bank. So I will start with the OTS policy of the bank. So we will finish off it now. OTS policy of the bank, 2-3 slides we will see. OTS policy of the bank. Friends, this OTS policy of the bank is also given in the recovery policy, ECTO Circular 147/2022. See, every year, bank comes out with the recovery policy. So the normal OTS policy of the bank is given in 147/2022. So over and above the normal recovery policy, bank is also coming out with a special OTS scheme, normal OTS scheme and a special OTS scheme. So under special OTS scheme, the concession given to the borrower is more than under the normal OTS scheme. For this year, besides the normal OTS scheme, bank has come out with OTS scheme for agricultural loans with liability up to 25 lakhs, small value NPA accounts, and also for MSME loans. These three loans, bank has come out with a special scheme. Questions were asked last time under various parameters. When we go inside the slide, I will tell you from where the examiner has picked up the question. So there are three special OTS schemes that also we are going to cover in the classes coming days, besides the normal OTS scheme. The concessions given in the special OTS scheme are little more than the regular OTS scheme. Why bank is giving more concessions in the special OTS scheme? Because of the reason in those areas, NPAs are more for the bank. Okay, that is why more concession. Now, what is OTS? One-time settlement. A borrower has to pay 2 crores to you. Bank agrees for a payment of 1.50 crores to you. So 50 lakhs is written off from the books of the bank. What is this, sir? You are writing off 50 lakhs. Why can't you recover from the borrower? See, why banks are going for that? Question was asked for some level in some exam. Why banks are going in for OTS? Because the opportunity cost, based on the opportunity cost, the OTS amount is settled by the bank. OTS amount formula is worked out. What is that opportunity cost? How much the borrower has to give you? 2 crores. How much you are asking the borrower to pay to you? 1.5 crores. So 50 lakhs you are telling, I will write off, I will clear you from the liability. So you give that 1.50 crores. On the other hand, if the 2 crores is kept with you in your books, you have to keep provision. If it is substandard, 15% or 25%. If it is doubtful first year, deficient plus 25%. Doubtful more than 1 up to 3 years, deficient plus 40%. If it is doubtful more than 3, 100% on the book liability. So what is the provision bank has to keep if that NPA is kept with the bank? 1 point. And the second point, what is the follow-up cost involved for the bank? The employee salary and many things. So what is the cost? On the other hand, if you write off the 50 lakhs and clear that liability, what is the benefit you are getting? So that is called the opportunity cost. Wherever the benefits are more, instead of keeping the account in NPA, bank goes for OTS, that is based on the opportunity cost. Why bank foregoes this 0.50 lakhs and settles the account? It is based on the opportunity cost. So if this question was asked, bank settles OTS, bank write-offs a portion, or bank is going in for OTS amount based on what? It is based on the opportunity cost. The cost for maintaining the account is much more than writing off the 50,000 or 50 lakhs. So the benefits are more. That is called the opportunity cost in economics. Okay, sir. Now, one-time settlement For recovery legal action initiated account, it is in your loan recovery policy 147/2022. Over and above that, bank is having special OTS scheme for agricultural NPA accounts, HO Circular 148/2022. And OTS for MSME NPA accounts 149/2022. And OTS for small value NPAs, including educational loan 150. If time permits, please go through these three plus that one circular. So that circular main OTS you need not go through, at least a special OTS scheme. Now, how the bank is telling you pay this much money under OTS. I will relieve you. How the OTS amount is arrived by the bank. How the OTS amount is arrived by the bank. There are three possibilities. The realizable value of the security is sufficient to cover the full dues. So even though, for example, you are given an housing loan. Today, as per the valuation report, the value of the house is 1 crore. The book liability is only 90 lakhs. So in this case, realizable value is sufficient to cover the full dues of the borrower. Even then, if the borrower is not going to pay, he says, I cannot pay 90 lakhs. I will pay something less than 90 lakhs. Bank goes for OTS. That is a formula. Okay. So how OTS amount is arrived at? First case, when realizable value of the security is sufficient to cover the liability, a OTS formula is arrived. Bank is asking to pay lesser amount. Second point. Realizable, RVS stands for realizable value of the security. Realizable value of the security alone is not sufficient. Only if you take the net worth of the borrower and guarantor, then only you can cover the entire liability. For that, there is a formula. So, in the first case, as per the formula, what the money the borrower has to give is something more than as per the second formula. Second formula is little more concession to the borrower. Third formula, both realizable value of the security and net worth of the borrower and guarantor not sufficient to cover the book liability, entire liability. In that case, more liberal to the borrower. Okay, the OTS formula is divided not under the special OTS schemes, under the normal OTS scheme. OTS formula is depending upon three cases. Realizable value of the security alone sufficient to recover the full amount, including the interest. So what is the amount the borrower has to pay? If he is not willing to pay the full amount, he comes for settlement. Second case, realizable value and net worth put together alone is sufficient. What is the OTS formula? Third one, both are not sufficient. What is the OTS formula? Let us see the slide. See, realizable value of the security is sufficient to recover the contractual or decretal dues. So you will be giving 8 points to the borrower. When you see the next 2-3 slides, you will understand the meaning of these points. Don't worry now. When the realizable value alone is sufficient to recover the contractual or decretal dues. If it is suit file and a rate is given by the court, that is called a decretal dues. If the suit is not yet filed, your contracted rate plus penal interest, if any. So realizable value alone is sufficient to recover the entire book liability along with contracted interest, penal interest, or the court offered rate. In that case, how much money you have to recover from the borrower under OTS. Normally, we will ask the borrower to pay the full amount. In cases, if a party is paying lesser amount, we will tell at least this much amount you have to pay for this book liability plus simple interest at MCLR on 1/4/2022 plus 1.50. So realizable value is sufficient to recover the contractual dues or decretal dues. You ask him to pay the full money. If he is not willing to pay, you ask him to pay book liability plus the simple interest on the book liability at MCLR on 1/4/2022 plus 1.50%. Okay, what is book liability? The date on which the accounts become NPA, the liability is freezed. So the day on which, that is interest from that date, interest is not applied on that account. So cessation of interest, that date you have to take, and business object reports are there. You freeze that liability. On that liability, you ask him to pay simple. He has to pay something more. Contractual rate is more, or decretal rate is more. In spite of that, you are asking to pay simple interest on MCLR plus 1.50. Now, what is the thing given in the pink color over the reading 2.50, 1.50? Friends, that is the OTS is applicable both for willful defaulters and non-willful defaulters also. Okay, the money comes to the bank, that is sufficient. So let us not keep quiet. Let us not think that OTS is only for a non-willful defaulter. Even for a willful defaulter, bank can go in for OTS. So though bank goes for OTS and collects the money, the other criminal procedures, other police complaint or CBI complaint will continue under the respective wherever it is there. So if the borrower is a willful defaulter, then you will collect MCLR plus 2.50. Second, the realizable value of the security and net worth of the borrower and guarantor is sufficient. Not only the realizable value, you give 6 points to the borrower. In that case, how much you will ask the borrower to pay? Book liability as above, book liability plus simple interest. SI stands for simple interest at the MCLR on 1/4/2022 minus 0.50. Here you see at MCLR plus 1.50. That is why I told in the first case, the amount the borrower has to give under OTS is something more than the second case. If it is a willful defaulter, you are asking to pay 1 plus 1.50. Third point, realizable value is not sufficient. Net worth of the borrower is not sufficient. You give him 4 points. In that case, what is the OTS formula? Recover the maximum amount possible from the borrower. Okay. So, for example, I told you, that is how to calculate the simple interest, what period. Simple interest to be calculated from the date of stoppage of interest on the account becoming NPA, that is book liability, till the end of the quarter, immediately prior to the date of submission of OTS proposal. Example, NPA date is 10/1/2020. OTS date is 10/8/2022. Assuming no more interest, stoppage of interest has taken place on 10/1/2020, you have to calculate simple interest on MCLR plus 1.50 or plus 2.50 or minus 0.50 or plus 1.50 from 10/1/2020, not till 10/8/2022, till 30/6/2022 only, end of the previous quarter, the day on which the OTS proposal is submitted. It is 10/8/2022. You need not calculate interest till this date on the previous quarter yet, 30/6/2022. With this slide, we'll wind up the session today. At the time of negotiation for OTS for non-will defaulters, if the borrower died, sale of property is very difficult due to litigation, disputed property, natural calamity leading to closure of business. One e-auction has already failed due to no bidders. So I told you, any one of these things happened at the time of OTS. If you find out, if the borrower is telling, because of these things, I am not able to repay the loan. For non-willful defaulter, I am not able to repay the loan. So when he says, normally, you have given for this point 8 points and asked him to pay. So you come to know at the time of settlement of OTS, he gets 8 points because realizable value is sufficient. But you find out the borrower has died. In that case, you can reduce his points from 8 to 6. Even though originally for this he gets 8 points and he has to pay this much money. Since I told you 4 or 5 incidents in the third slide, any one incident or any 2 incidents or all the incidents has taken place in the account, then you will reduce the point to 6 instead of 8. So even though he comes in this category, you will not ask him to pay, you will ask him to pay only this much. So any one of the things has happened or all the things has happened, you can reduce maximum 2 points to the borrower and fix him in the next category. And this fellow will get 6 marks and get this much amount is sufficient. Suppose in this case, originally 6 marks, this much he has to pay. Any one of these is happened, you bring him in this category, ask him to pay maximum amount. So, in taking place of any one of this account, you can reduce maximum 2 points. More than 2 points, you cannot reduce and ask him to pay the appropriate OTS amount as per the formula. The minimum marks should not be below 4. So below 4, so there is no question of any concept because maximum amount you are recovering. So 8 points you can bring to 6 points. From 6 points you can bring to 4 points. From 4 points you cannot further reduce any point. So 8-point fellow has to pay this much money because of taking place of this any one event. He will get 6 points and this lesser money only he will pay. So this is the way in which the OTS formula, what you have to collect from the borrower is fixed. The erasable value is sufficient to recover the full dues. Book liability plus MCLR plus 1.50. So realizable value guarantor's net worth is sufficient. Book liability minus MCLR minus 0.50. That is for that period. Third one is both are not sufficient. Maximum amount recovered. So how to calculate there is interest from the date of account becoming NPA, where there is stoppage of interest till the previous quarter end on the day OTS is settled. So you calculate and ask him to pay. And during the process of discussion, if any one of these things happen, ask the borrower's points will be reduced. Accordingly, he will pay lesser amount. Okay, friends. So it is time. So it's 9:02. I am stopping the session. We will meet in the next class.
Sir, thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
OTS முடிஞ்சிருச்சா?
What is ஆரம்பிச்சிருக்கு?
ஆரம்பிச்சிருக்கீங்க. So recovery policy and OTS.
Yes, yes. Recovery policy only, OTS policy is also there. So we will finish it off in the next session.
ஒருத்தர் கேட்டிருக்கார் how these points are arrived அப்படின்னு.
How these points are, see, if the erasable value is sufficient, they say you give 8 points, that's all. You don't worry how the, suppose they may say 10 points. So from 10 points, they say you reduce by 2 points. So if the erasable value is sufficient, they say 8. The importance of the point is, if that is something has happened, how much you can reduce from the borrower? 8 to 6, that's all. You cannot reduce to 8 to 4. How that 8 points is arrived, nowhere is explained in the OTS policy. They say if this is the case, the borrower point is 8. If this is the case, if something has happened, you reduce the borrower's point from 8 to 6. That's all. This is only for calculation purpose. Nothing very much important. How this 8 point, 6 point, 4 points are given. This is only number.
One person has asked, we started before 7:30. Sir, to cover the subject only, we have started by 7 o'clock. This week, all the classes will be from 7 o'clock. Till Friday, all the evening classes will be from 7 o'clock. We have classes on all the days. Sir, one more question was on question number 78.
1 minute.
And email.
Tell me.
Not mode in 78 question.
Question number 78.
Yes, sir.
We're talking about the recovery question number 78. 1 minute. What is the mode of issuing demand notice? Sir, you can send by hand delivery against acknowledgement. Registered post you can give. Speed post. Courier is also that. Maybe in the PowerPoint I would have missed the courier. So the recovery policy says courier. Fax or email also. So all these modes are the eligible modes. So all these modes are the eligible mode. So whatever it is there, you have to get the acknowledgement. For example, if it is email, so you may say, where is the written acknowledgement? You know the registered email ID of the borrower. From there, if you get an acknowledgement that I have received a demand notice dated so and so, that is more than sufficient. Registered mobile number, registered with you. For that, you have to send. If it is an acknowledgement or if it is returned without any acknowledgement, then you have to go for paper publication. So somebody has put 24th classes are not yet uploaded in YouTube. 24 classes you have to tell, sir.
24th class YouTube video, that video what we downloaded has got a lot of breaks and it was not continuous. So we could not upload. It was not a full video.
That is why answers for that question we uploaded. Now somebody has asked question number 89. If the borrower is not satisfied with the order of the DRT code, he can approach DRAT within how many days and how much he has to deposit as per section 18 of the SARFAESI Act. So he has to approach DRAT within 30 days. First, to approach DRT, he has to go within 45 days of possession notice. He need not deposit anything. Suppose if he is not happy with the order of DRT, has to give the order within 60 days, he can take another 4 months. If he is not happy with the DRT order, he has to approach DRAT within 45 days of the DRT order by depositing 50% of the amount ordered by the DRT. DRAT can reduce it to 25%.
And one person has asked, we are coming, that is, we have to sit up to late in the office. So can we go from 7 to 10? One person is asking, one person is asking to start by 8 o'clock.
7 to 10 now.
Sir, kindly understand the faculties who are taking the session in the evening session, they are already tired. They are taking class in the LDC. Both Mr. Ravikumar and Mr. Jagennath sir are already tired taking classes in the daytime at our LDC. So on our request, they are sparing time for 2 hours in the evening. So to have them, to give them sufficient rest, we are trying to finish the class early. So that is the only reason we are also providing video. If you are not able to join on time, you can join bit late, but try to understand the reason behind fixing the sessions from 7 to 9.
Because tomorrow morning again I have class at 10 o'clock in LDC.
They have to take their dinner. They have to take some more preparation if required. They have to prepare. So for all these things, they need time. So thank you. Please join by 7 o'clock. Whoever is not able to join, no problem. You can watch YouTube TV, that YouTube videos you can always watch. Sir, thank you, sir. Already we have taken your much of time. Thank you. Good night, sir.
Good night.
We will upload, sir. YouTube, we will upload by tomorrow morning. It will be available.
So now I will also put for this NPA recovery question with answers also.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So I'll end the session, sir. Thank you.